Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen today. I titled this message, News Reporting Wars. News Reporting Wars. When we listen to the news, whether you're in the car, listening to radio, at home, watching television, or via the internet, you are given information about an event, about a health crisis. You are provided with what you hope is the truth concerning a tragedy. There are times where we are disturbed by what we see, what we hear, and for some of us, it hits close to home. And our mouths drop. Whether it is good news, bad news, or something in between, it is information that, once again, we hope is factual. But right now, as is the case for so many decades and even centuries, there is a war, if you will, when it comes to information. Depending on who is giving you that information, you can either take it with a grain of salt, or you can use that information and do something about your situation or someone else's and pray about it. But whatever the case may be, what is it about this war that for some of you all, it's unseen? You haven't even begun to think about something like this. When I am in the presence of the Lord and I'm sitting quietly, the Lord will provide me with His information, and I trust His. I don't trust men and women's, and not even a child at times. Unless you can give me some evidence and proof, I'm sitting there like, okay, yeah, all right. You see, some of you all, you know how we do when we're a bit skeptical, a bit of a cynic about some things, while other people are like, come on, why you got to ask so many questions? Just believe it. I mean, you making things difficult for yourself. If they say that it's going to help people, it's safe, it's good, it's fine. I mean, why don't you just go along? I mean, okay, we could flip the script and say, well, why don't you just go along with anything I give you, right? I mean, don't do any research. Don't look at the back of labels. Don't do too much of anything. Just because I said it, therefore it is so, right? And we know better. Those of us who are believers, we're not God. God can get away with something like that, right? But when it comes down to flawed men, women, children, and even some of the false signs and wonders that the enemy provides, guising himself as the one true God, we know we better ask questions. What kind of believer are you if you're not asking questions? Because, see, there was a time where I said to myself, there's no way that people would take a mark of a beast. That is just so far-fetched. That's so crazy. And I mean, I'm not trying to be, disrespectful to the one true God, but that's just hard to believe. And then we see some individuals that time they said health crisis, they were like, oh, okay, all right, we got to do this. We got to. And so I said, wow, it's going to be real easy to deceive people. I mean, yeah, sure, you're going to provide them with all sorts of information to make them feel at ease about what they're about to do. But whoa. And I mean, whoa, W-O-E. Because when the plagues come mighty, we thought this was a plague. When the plagues come mightily, there's going to be some individuals that's going to sit up there already programmed, already prime and ready to take the mark of the beast. Because I see it, how easy it was for individuals to be told that something's good, something's great, something's safe, until people started coming out the woodwork saying, stop, stop, stop. And then those that have stock in the crisis are like, no, 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 we got to put those people back, push them back, censor them, do whatever you can. We can't let those stories show up, because if they do, the programming is going to break down. But there's only so much that you can do to keep the truth at bay. There's only so much that you can do when you keep saying that something's good, something's fun, something's great, something's whatever, and then somebody over here says, as some individual said, there's always one. No, it's not always one. There's 2, there's 5, there's 10, there's 15, there's 20, there's 30, there's 100, there's 150, and the numbers keep growing, and now it's not always one. Don't you love some individuals like that? Because see, your truth, once again, is impacting them. It's making them feel some kind of way. I was feeling good until you showed up with your information, with your stats. And even then, the brainwasher are going to say, I really don't care. As long as it's not hurting me. I mean, I feel sorry that everybody else is going through like they are, but I must be something special, something unique. You see, Lord Jesus, or dare we say it, blessed, because it didn't happen to me. You see, pride. And I remember some individuals that were quite prideful, and now they got their share of issues, and now they want some empathy, sympathy as they post up videos. Well, looks like not everybody should be standing in line. Did you talk to God? Oh, that's right. You said that God told you. Or you felt in your spirit. But you won't dare tell individuals that a lot has changed since you did what you did. Some folks know what I'm talking about. We got some other individuals that, you see, when information shows up, they're the type of folks that, yes, they do question it, but they just go ahead on and they do whatever anyone tells them. You see, buy this. It's a buy one, get one, and this will help you and your family. Oh, I got to go get it, girl. I got to go get it. Then they bring it home. This cheap, blah, 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 starts cussing and fussing about it. No, but you want to believe what you see. You want to believe what you hear. And you claim you pray about it, but your prayer sounds more like, Lord, thank you so much for letting me see this information. Let me see this product, this service. I'm going to go out here and get it. Thank you. And then the person takes off. And now that thing has caused heartache, headache, upset. People are arguing about it. Individuals regret that it ever showed up at their doorstep. If I would have known that it was going to cause so many problems, well, I'm here today to be the prophetess to tell you that before you go out there and you buy it, before you go out there and believe everything that you read, maybe you might want to sit down, not just in the moment, but for some days, some weeks, some months, and see what other information pops up about that thing before you go along with programming. The wars that are out here concerning information, what does that look like for some individuals? Once again, when you think of war, you think about boots on the ground, you think about troops lining up or what have you. But what does it look like when it comes to information? Information is, we got somebody on the right or some group on the right. We got somebody on the left. We got somebody in the middle. We got someone who, I don't like none of you all, and I'm just going to say whatever because I hope that you end up falling on your own sword. Wow. Yes. So we got good, we got evil, we got some folks in between. We got some folks that don't know too much about things, but they claim they know much. We got some folks that like to spread disinformation. You know, there's a whole bunch of aspects, characters to war, right? And so if you don't have a shepherd to guide you through all of what is being put before you, you'll go along with anything. And then because you feel deceived, tricked, bamboozled, what you'll do is you'll act or pretend or tell a lie because you don't want us to know that you got played. For some individuals, they won't discover that they have been persuaded, convinced, and forced into something that even God himself did not support until 6 months from now, until a year. Because see, some of the information, the consequences of what happens doesn't show up until later. For some folks, they're looking for immediate negativity, right? Oh, it didn't happen. So I guess it's all good. It's all positive until 6 months later, until a year later, you see. Now, to keep individuals going along with programming, going along with the agenda, going along with the objective, there has to be a script or scripts, if you will, that refutes whatever it is that the opposing team group puts out there. I wrote telemarketing scripts at 19 plus years old. I was also the individual that was trained at a market research company on what to say to the people when they object to something or they question it or they're skeptical about it. So we had what you call rebuttals. Oh, whatever you say, you best believe we have an answer for that. This goes on minute by minute in media. And because there's various tracking to find out what people are saying, what people are doing, there has to be some type of ad that pops up that will take you away from what you might stumble on that team doesn't want you to stumble on. There has to be some type of script, if you will, so that when somebody says something on a social media page who is highly influential, not just anybody, but who's highly influential, there has to be a plan to put that cat back in the bag, so to speak. You see, so this individual objected, let's say, to what is being done to so-called help the current health crisis. And so there is the group that has to come out with a bunch of positives, a bunch of benefits, more pros, less cons. And if the cons are addressed, we still got to put a positive spin on it, you see. Even though there's facts, even though there's truth, even though there is information that points away from the so-called solution, we've got to bring people back to the solution. And you've got to get many people on board. So there are people being offered thousands of dollars on YouTube and elsewhere to preach a message that goes along with the agenda. You see, you don't see checks cut. You don't see deals that are made. You don't see signatures on documents that agree to speak for 6 months, a year, or however long about why this is beneficial. The people have to know that this is good for them, whatever the agenda is, because agendas change day by day, month by month. And when issues arise and some things can't be put back in the box, okay, I guess we'll go along with the objections, the concerns, the issues that people have. So we'll put some things on pause. Come on now. This is the type of information that some of you all need because you've been bamboozled for so long, and God doesn't want his people bamboozled, gullible. I tried to prepare some of you all, not just for the family information wars, but also for the workplace information wars, for the national as well as international information wars in so many different ways. I thought that the best way to approach some of these subjects would be based on what you already know, which is your family. But sometimes we've got to get off that subject and focus in on what you're being fed when you're driving in your car, and when you're sitting on your sofa, and when you are at the workplace spinning around in your office chair. When a company doesn't want certain information to be leaked prematurely, what they're going to do is say that I'm not aware of that information. I'll have to look into that. Or, that's interesting. Let me talk with this department or that one about it. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm not aware of that. Are you sure that that information is related to our company? I mean, that could be something else or some other company. Or no. I don't believe that. We have X amount of experience and we know this and that and whatever. You see, they want you to shut up, be quiet. Some individuals know that, yes, there is the layoff, but they can't let you know that there's the layoff that's upcoming. Or they don't want you to know that they're going to be downsizing in certain departments, but not others. Or they don't want you to know that certain titles will be promoted while other titles will no longer exist, which will cause individuals to be demoted. But if you are that savvy one, if you are the researcher, if you are that individual that you got your pulse on the one true God and what he is wanting for you to have, you may know information prematurely, therefore being like the prophet who goes and tells some other people. I don't care what they're in denial about or what they're trying to distract us with. Some company, what they did was they used to have these like fun moments, right? Where they brought all sorts of people in, and to uplift and, make them laugh. And there's some freebies and some food and all this other stuff before they would announce days or weeks later that here comes another change. Hours are going to be decreased, you see. But meanwhile, though, all along in the beginning, you wanted to act like, oh, no, I'm not aware. I don't know what you're talking about. You see. And managers, owners, investors, what have you, they're trained to talk a certain way when some of you all know too much too soon. Now, some information that can get some people into trouble, like go to jail. Well, those individuals who want to make sure that that information is never out there, doesn't receive any credibility, doesn't see the light of day, they're going to distract you. You absolutely believe that, okay? Censorship. We can't let those who are in the know, who's in the circle, who was there, okay? Who heard some things. We can't let them gain momentum and start telling. So we've got to make sure that we cut these people off. And some folks have, unfortunately, gone to their graves sooner rather than later. And God and natural causes didn't have nothing to do with it. Am I speaking plainly here? What happens in a family setting when there's some information about a matriarch or patriarch who has been respected for generations? Okay. Someone who everyone just admires. And then we find out that person was messing around with little kids. Or we find out that person had raped people. Or we find out that individual was a drunkard, a liar, and that all of what he acquired, he stole. What family who consider these individuals to be favorites, well respected, highly regarded, what have you, however you want to describe these people or person. What they'll do is they'll deny anything that you say that is truthful, accurate, you've interviewed. No, he would never do that. I don't know, girl, where you got your information, honey, because that's not the type of person, that he was back when I knew him. Yeah, but were you there with him 24/7? Right? You weren't. So stop. Maybe he was like that in your presence. Very nice, mannerable. I love that word, right? Not. Those of you all who've listened for quite some time, I can't stand that word nice, because nice doesn't do too much of anything for me. If I want to get to know somebody, we got to go beyond nice. We got to sit down. We got to talk. We got to, cut the chase and get to the facts. You see what I'm saying? Are you going to be real with me, or are we going to play this game of, oh no, I don't know what you're talking about. And besides, you just need to honor. You need to respect. You need to just look at the good. Of course, because individuals who they hurt, they feel some kind of way. I know it's bad, right? It's just so bad to think that somebody who you respect and love so much would do some down and dirty and messy things. Some of you all need to get my book, Socially Sweet, Privately Cruel, Abusive Men. Because you see, the least that you could do if you claim you love even those that don't necessarily like your favorite, the least that you could do is hear them out. Hear what the victim is saying. The victim that I got the scars. The victim that I was there. There were witnesses. There was the police involved. Please don't disrespect me, disregard, dismiss, disappoint me by talking up your favorite that, the truth be told, you don't know. You really don't know. You didn't grow up in the household. You didn't experience the types of things that your relatives experienced with that individual. Don't do that. And this is why some individuals had to be cut off. Okay? Because the minute you start hearing the denial, that's why some of you all had to leave some companies, because I'm so sick of feeding into this system of lies and liars, manipulators and the manipulated. I don't care what their mission is. At the end of the day, I'm watching. I'm paying attention to. You see, I don't care what the statement reads that the attorneys put out. There's too many people in this world that know what the agendas are. And that's why for some individuals, yes, of course, there are too many people. And so here we go with controlling what God, let me repeat that, controlling what God has anointed and appointed. Because when the truth rises up, a lot of times that has a lot to do with what God is doing behind the scenes. And as I've said in other audio, your arms are too short to box with an almighty God when it comes to the information that he wants to put forth. Why in the world would any individual assume that there's no cons to agendas that flawed men and flawed women put out there? You have that much faith in people that you don't believe that there's any cons to them, any negatives to them, any weaknesses. There are weaknesses in all of us. But there are also strengths too. And when those that don't want the truth to come out, what do? They draw on the weaknesses. They say, oh, let me tell you, I dangled this carrot in front of this fool. Yeah, that fool may have had some truth, but he started dropping names and so forth, and we can't afford to have him dropping names. So I dangled a carrot, and that carrot could have been a scandalous woman, therefore creating a scandal with those that we admire, respected. Well, I had to do what we had to do. You see, it's those sorts of individuals that they don't have a heart, they don't have a conscience. So they can be able to look you dead in the face and say that this doesn't hurt and this wouldn't cause. And oh, that was related to something that that person already went through, you see, or they had a pre-existing condition of sorts, and this is why this happened. If you're watching court hearings, you know what the defense does. They've been doing this with anyone. Anyone who dares to sit on the stand and speak a truth. They want to poke holes in the case. They want to blame the victim. They want to find fault with the victim because their job is to defend the one that has a thick case against him or her. That's their job. We can't stand when they do that sort of thing, but that's their job. Isn't it true that, would you say, what is your experience? What do you believe? What did you witness? Where were you? And then, whatever the answer is, now you said, and you claim, and you observed, and they turn it back against you. Some individuals, they don't care to know what you know. What they want to do is to just simply make you go away. Some individuals, they care. They truly care about what you know. And they also care about your influence. They care about who's listening to you. They care about anything and everything associated with the truth that you speak, the truth that you listen to, the truth that you know because you were there, because you felt, because you got a lawsuit pending. You see, I don't know, as I've said in another audio, who I'm speaking to, but your war isn't a physical war where we see abuse, right? Far from it. But your war is this information war, where is someone, whether at the workplace, at the next holiday event, a family member, or what have you, where they struggle with what you know. They struggle with the God that you serve. Why does he keep giving him or her all this information? I just wish, what did this woman or this man stumble upon? How is it that this person can be able to just tell all my business, including business that I didn't even share? They got a problem with you. Because I know over the years, some individuals had many problems with me. You see, God doesn't tell you all that. God wouldn't do that. God wouldn't. Don't ever say what God won't do. God will put information in our spirits to protect us. God will provide us with useful information so that we can be able to help others. God will allow us to go through the fire and we come out like, like the 3 Hebrew boys unscathed. Also, God will allow a Job experience where we lose a lot. But through each trial, each circumstance, each difficulty, even things that we brought upon ourselves, we end up getting stronger and stronger in Christ. So for some of these individuals who don't like the truth that you speak, they don't want you strong. That's why they attack you. That's why they don't want you to say what you say and do what you do. And they don't want your information to reach certain ears. You see. Some folks know that you're empowered for everything that you do and you say because you've got a strong network. You don't need to be the most popular in order to get some information to the right ears. You don't need to be the most influential in order to change a situation, a program, an agenda. You don't need to be a certain color, ethnicity, if you will, in order to reach individuals that don't look like you, that don't speak like you. You see, God will use, as I've said in other audio, the most unlikeliest people to do some of the most unlikeliest things. And so information, truthful information, accurate information, information that you don't need to know all the details. All you need to know is just enough to empower you, is the kind of information that our God wants, once again, us to be mindful of so that we are not being led to the slaughter, so that we are not cutting our years short, our lifespan short, just because someone or some group wants it to be so. So that we are not saying or doing the types of things that will support the children of darkness and what they got going on because they've listened to their false gods during their chants and their rituals and so forth. Because some folks, they don't think like that either. Where did some of this information come from? Right? These false stories about Jesus and these, century plus, just the type of information that's so old, but it's mixed with truth, but it's also some lies going on. Where did that come from? False gods. Gods that come through a vortex, a portal, if you will, that they are very bitter, very angry, very disturbed. They know far more than humans. And they want nothing more than to destroy humans. The paranormal can provide information as well. And when you're listening to the false gods, and when you see that certain things are not taking place, and when you see that there are those people that are spiraling out of control, and they're confused mentally or what have you, and they're talking in all sorts of circles and riddles, and it's just the type of thing that's going on with them that you can't wrap your head around. Most likely, that person is plagued by demons. Demons talk. Just like the Holy Spirit will guide you and lead you away from demons. And then when their agendas, children of darkness, their agendas don't go smoothly, and there's one problem after another, they've got to write scripts. They've got to talk to this group and that group. They've got to convince this one and that one. They've got to win as many people on their side as possible. They look at the systems that individuals have used over the years to get this information into the hands, whatever that information might be. And they say, wow, that system worked for them. They won souls to Christ with that system. Okay, we can use a similar system in order to get them to do this, that, and the other. I told you all the public relations campaign for certain groups, individuals, what have you, to do what the current health agenda requires was to use the voting strategy. The same system that they use to get people to come out to vote is the same system that they use to get them to come out to do the things that they want you to do. And they use that rinse and repeat system with other things as well. And when there are those individuals that want future systems and plans and agendas, you're going to see that same system repeat itself. But hopefully those of you all who have seen it over and over and over again won't fall for it. Because there is the rinse and repeat system that was used to get you to do the first thing, whatever that thing is. And some of you all, you know what you recently did or didn't do. They're going to try it again. And one of the ways that those of you all who got information many years ago, when it came down to, for instance, MLM, the multi-level marketing, network marketing, what was some of the things that they told you to do early on to get information out there, to get people on your team, to grow your business, was to reach out to that list, right? Remember the list? That list of individuals that are close to you. But for some of you all, you kept calling people on that list, and you made yourself to be annoying, irritable. People got tired of you. People didn't want to buy another thing from you. You started getting upset with those people. You started talking about how family don't support or whatever else. You didn't look at how many times that they had already supported you. Or some individuals that from the start said, that's a messy system and I don't want nothing to do with it and don't call me. So cross my name off your list. And you didn't like those people because you were sold the agenda. You were sold whatever they sold you about the product or service at those meetings. That's why they wanted you to keep coming to those meetings and keep coming to those meetings. You see, I've got old messages on here about MLM in case anyone's interested. And God's take on it though. And I will tell you that as people were building up their businesses and they were going along with whatever the programming was, they also ended up getting tired of having to be the mouthpiece for that company that was making far more money than they would ever make. And that they found out that to be on the top pretty much was selling your soul. Isn't that the case in so many industries? You see. And then when negative information, negative news was coming out, they were using those same individuals in these various MLMs to provide rebuttals to team members. This is what you say if you're approached, if you're questioned, if the customer has an issue with, and this is what you do. And this is how we're going to make these wrongs right. And initially, for some individuals who they're okay with the I'm sorry type of thing, and they're okay with a discount or a freebie, they tell their friends, and their friends go, oh, okay, well, I guess the company's not so bad. But the skeptical ones, the cynical ones go, oh no, please. Your little discount, your little freebie, your little whatever is not going to hide the fact that your company is a ripoff. Your company uses people. Your company is the cup that ran away with the spoon. And we're not going to keep buying the cup and the spoon and whatever else that comes with it or in it. You see. And if we had more people that would push back when it came to these different agendas, then we could be able to hopefully cause some things to not come into fruition. And some of you all know what some of those things are. when it comes to your money, when it comes to your wealth or health, I should say, wealth, health, when it comes to raising your children, sending your children off to schools. But if you don't know where the weaknesses are in the agenda, and you don't bother to do your due diligence, then yes, they win and you lose. I thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube, NM Enterprise 7. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. We do welcome giving, and thank you.